Good evening, everybody. Hear a neighbor's dog barking out in the background. Hey, everybody. Good evening, Facebook, TikTok. Hair's all wet. I just took me a shower a little bit ago. I didn't realize it got so hot. I left. We leave. We close at 4:00. And so I'd sit around inside all day in that air conditioning. Hey, everybody. Good evening. Eddie Williams Sellers coming to you, sitting out here in my little garden house this evening. Listen to a little bit of music. And Ava's in Charlotte. Got to Charlotte this afternoon. She's going to be in Charlotte all weekend. And hey, Miss Linda. Good evening to you. So anyhow, I went on my walk at 4:00, and man, I just took out walking toward Grant Park, and I'm like, ooh, I don't know if this was a good idea because it's summertime returned to Atlanta this afternoon. I was hot and sweaty and wet. Time I got back from my daily walk. I walk 7 days a week, everybody. I'll get up and walk in the morning, and I'm just a big advocate. I'm going on 3 years now of walking 7 days a week, and do about 2 miles in about 45 minutes. Ava's been walking with me for the last almost going on. This November will be 3 years, so maybe 2.5 years. But it's really, I think it's really done wonders for my health, along with encouraging me to eat more, better and appropriately. And yeah, so, my thing is, I was a heavy smoker for years. I look at pictures now, even like I posted some pictures this week over on Facebook, and I'm like, oh my God, I had a gut in my 40s. I didn't eat that well. Smoked a lot. Never have been a drinker. I'll have a glass of wine or something over the years, but never. My daddy was an alcoholic. All his brothers, most was alcoholic. My daddy's daddy was an alcoholic. My 3 brothers, James, Richard, and Joe, were and are alcoholics. And but for whatever reason, that gene skipped me. I was just lucky. That's the way I look at it. I was just lucky, or I could have been just like a lot of the rest of them. So we got a lot to be thankful for this evening. When I sit in my garden house, I have a different mindset when I'm out here. When I built it a couple of years ago, while I was building it, I told myself then, I'm like, this is going to be my sanctuary. Or when I'm troubled, or heavy laden, or fearful, or, a place where I can just come and grow plants and paint art and do videos and pray. If y'all want to, we'll pray a little bit this evening. I'm not fearful of praying. I was thinking earlier. I bought 2 little cochin chickens, and one of them's been injured. I don't know if it's something wrong with his foot, its leg, but it's 4 or 5 months old. But I assumed it's a she, hens, but she hobbles. You can tell she's not well or injured in some kind of way or something. And so I thought earlier, I said, next time I pick her up, I'm just going to pick her up and ask the source, the Holy Spirit, the universe, God, Jehovah, Buddha, Granny Bratcher, Mama on the other side, to heal the chicken. And over the years, when we pray, like, let's just say, for instance, if I pick up the chicken in the next day or two, and I'm like, in Jesus' name be healed. And then a couple of days later, when I look and she's not hobbling no more, did that really happen, or is it just a coincidence? You know? So, but I believe we do have certain amounts of gifts and power and stuff within us. So, anyhow, good evening, TikTok, Facebook. Sitting here with Boom Boom and Gracie in Atlanta, Georgia this evening. Man, the world, the stuff, I don't want to do politics tonight, but everything is politics, y'all. You know, I don't care what it is. If you're talking about going to Walmart or Target, everything's politics. But it does seem odd that the United States, it seems like it's not really a serious country to me when you got the president and Elon up there bickering like two little unruly little boys. Boom, boom, you're knocking my camera around, buddy. So it kind of does a little head trip with us. Let me see where I'm doing right here. I don't know what this music is. It's relaxing though, isn't it? Justice for All says, I never met you here on earth, but I'll look forward to getting acquainted in heaven. That'd be nice, wouldn't it? You know? It is. Hey, Dennis. Good evening to you. I'm just sitting here. Those of you, you stop by for a few minutes to say hey, or laying there on your bed or in your hotel room or something. Just want to take a minute to breathe, take the day in, relax. I don't know what all this means when it pops up on TikTok, says invite this person to join you live as a guest. I don't really do all that. Let me pull my shirt up. Boom Boom, are you liking the music, buddy? Yeah, so I'll have a weekend. Probably go over to the Key Roadhouse tomorrow afternoon and do a little work on that. I'm rehabbing a little house that we're going to put up for sale here over in Southeast Atlanta. And over in Jill and Savannah's neighborhood where they live, Cabbagetown. Thank you for the hearts, y'all. Good evening, Lynn. Tomorrow over in Cabbagetown, they're having the yearly Cabbagetown Festival from 11 to 6. I have a little singing and cakewalk, and people hang around on Carroll Street. The street will be blocked off, and people will come around and say, just kind of no telling who you run into. So I told Savannah I'll come over there maybe around 11 o'clock, and me and her will walk down there, piddle, as they say. I would say this also about, with all if you turn on the news for 5 minutes, it's all just, Russia's bombing Ukraine with missiles, and more intense than they've ever bombed. You got all the channels doing all the hoo-ha-ha. Everybody loves a good fight with Elon and Trump, and but this evening, I'm sitting in my garden house. I'm just letting my day wind down, letting my spirit be renewed, letting my mind be calm. Looking forward to have a good night's sleep here this evening. Y'all people on here, these Trumpers that come on here and this craziness they do, just ignore them. Pray for them. love them and pray for them. Say, bless them, Lord. And they like attention. So it's silly in a way, isn't it? All that stuff. It's so silly. Like grown men acting like little. Donald Trump's like a 85 years old, and I've got a grandson who's 12 years old, acts more mature and manly and adult than Donald Trump does. Good Lord. Donald Trump acts like good Lord. It's silly, just silly. You know, the great poet, Dr. Maya Angelou, said that some people grow older but never grow up. Yeah, it is kind of peaceful in the background, isn't it? I got a little something playing on up here. So, yes, that some people grow older but never grow up. This is called My Rose, peaceful piano, cello, and guitar music by Soothing Relaxation. Yeah. You know what I should do one evening? I think I'll do this one evening. I don't ever smoke pot. I used to smoke pot when Sammy John was around back in the 40s and 50s or whatever. But I don't, maybe once in a blue moon. I think the last time I smoked pot, we was sitting on the beach at Panama City. And my grandson Caleb said, Papa, you want to hit this? And I hit a little bit of pot. And I'm like, good Lord. Boy, just the waves just sounded so beautiful. But maybe one evening I'll smoke a little joint and just relax and play some relaxing music. A lot of older and older people are smoking pot now, And but I went through my 40s and 50s. I smoked a lot of pot. Me and John used to bake brownies a lot, and we'd eat pot brownies. But I think the reason I brought that up is there's something about relaxing music that almost makes you feel like you've taken a token, The music kind of starts just kind of simmer down through your spirit like that. Smoking pot to me is very relaxing, although I don't do it anymore. But also a glass of wine in the evening is very relaxing too, and I don't do that either, But I wouldn't... Yeah, you can't say stuff like that on TikTok, I guess. But good evening, everybody. Hey, Miss Tricia. Yeah, only thing, Tricia, me and my friend John one year, we were trying to figure out how to bake brownies. And John had read something, so you put in some coffee in it too, like the caffeine make you wired. So we had a little bag of pot. John made the brownies up. And so John went on home that evening. Most people know me, my friends, family, they know this story, but I ate one of them brownies, and John had put a whole big bag of pot in like a little pan of brownies. And I went there and ate another one. Well, I don't know what happened. I got all paranoid and called 911 and called the police out to myself, telling them somebody was trying to break in my house. And then as soon as I hung up the phone, I said, I'm going to jail. This is going to be so embarrassing. The police are going to come out here and I'm going to go to jail. And so anyhow, I had this couple that lived next door to me in Grant Park, sweet little lesbian couple, and it was a lipstick lesbian at a motorcycle, masculine. But it is very common. But anyhow, they had left to go to L.A. a few days before that and asked me to keep an eye on their house. So anyhow, the police came up. They're shining lights on my front door. They're knocking on the door, and they're like, "Did you call and say somebody was trying to break in on you?" I said, "No, they misunderstood me." I said, "My two neighbors is out of town, and I thought I saw somebody walking around their house over there looking to break in their house. That's what I said. So I was quick with it. But my Lord, I got so stoned and paranoid, I called the police to my own self. Oh my goodness. But yeah, smoke a little pot one evening. Hit a little toke or something. Ava's not much of a pot smoker either, although she will smoke. That girl loves a bottle of wine, though. Give her some Sauvignon Blanc. She loves her some wine, although she don't really drink too much anyhow because it's got too many calories in it, y'all. Back when I joined Weight Watchers 2.5 years ago for 6 months, I put Weight Watchers on my phone and did the 35 points a day thing on it. And my God, a glass of wine would take about 10 of those points. I'm like, no, we can't do no wine. Edibles are my jam. Yeah. They got pretty. I'm glad I lived to see a time where now they're kind of doing away with a lot of this, locking people up, putting them in jail for having a little, bag of weed on them and stuff like that. You remember one time they got Dionne Warwick off a plane in Miami. This might have been in the 70s or 80s, but they got her off a plane in Miami because they arrested her because she had some marijuana on her. She said it was for her glaucoma. So now there's medicinal marijuana. There's all kind of stuff like that. But yeah, it is something. The times that me and Sammy and John would travel to Puerto Rico or Costa Rica, one of them always had weed on. Or like with Costa Rica, or Puerto Rico, we'd find the place somewhere down there. We'd find a connection where we'd buy it local, and we'd get some weed. I tell you, some of it would be so good you'd hit a couple of toes, and 5 minutes later you'd think you're like, oh my God, is this laced with something? I'm starting to, good Lord, I'm so stoned, I don't even know what I'm doing. Make sure they laced with something. But yeah, there's probably nothing in the world, y'all, as enjoyable as sitting on the beach somewhere in the evening time with your friends, people that you love. My grandson, my daughter, Heather, and just hitting a little toe and relaxing, especially because you get the giggles too. Isn't it fun to laugh with people? Just kind of laugh and have fun. and then at some point with me, oh my God, it's kind of like you just make you a sandwich or anything, and it's like the greatest food you've ever had in your entire life. You're just, oh my God, this is so good. Have a cup of Jell-O. It's like this Jell-O is delicious. So I shouldn't even tell this, but if you look at the pictures of my 40s, I did have a big stomach. I'd get stoned at my house in Grant Park. I would drive over to Ponce Leon, which is just right up the road, to Krispy Kreme and get a dozen hot Krispy Kreme with that light flashing and get that carton of milk. And honest before God, I'd eat that whole 12 gooey, ooey donuts all by myself. Best thing in the world. And then go in there and sleep like a baby all night. So if at the end of my life somebody says, Eddie William Sellers, did you have fun? Well, of course I did. I had a lot of fun. Good heavens. So anyway, but good evening, everybody. Me and Boom Boom and Gracie is sitting out here in my little garden house this evening. Just taking a breather, just relaxing, just feeling the energy, just feeling the flow. It's kind of warm out here. The air is not blowing. Yeah. Hey. Yeah. This person, lady, I can't want to see y'all, says, you're so funny. My first time on your channel page. Greetings from Stone Mountain. Good heavens. Well, you just right up the road from me in East Point. Honey, it ain't that far. Bring me a couple of Krispy Kreme donuts by here and say hey to me this evening. Isn't it weird? It's not weird, but oftentimes I forget that when you're doing these live videos or posting videos or whatever, oh yeah, like for me, I hear from people, you know, just everywhere, Scotland, England, all around. And then I sometimes forget there's people also that's watching right out here in Stone Mountain, in Cobb County, and up here in Marietta, and down here in Douglasville. It's a local thing also. So, but anyway, everybody, Eddie Williams Sellers this evening in East Point, Georgia. Sitting out here with my two doggies. Ava's in Charlotte this weekend. I'm just going to go ahead and put this intention out here. Speak it up. I'm going to have a good weekend this weekend. I'm going to go to the Cabbagetown Festival tomorrow. And I started to say, I'm going to put this intention out there. Me and Savannah's going to do that cake walk and win a cake. God, I don't want to win no cake. Then I feel like I'll need to eat some of it. I've ate enough cake. But I'm going to have a good time tomorrow. And then get up I'm going to have a good night's sleep. I'm going to get up and do my walk in the morning. I'm going to try to eat not too unhealthy. You know, to me, I fudge a little bit on weekends. Eat cake and enjoy life. I hear you. I do. Believe me. There's a scene in that movie where I think it's Meryl Streep plays Margaret Thatcher, and there's a scene in that where they tell her, you need to do this, you need to address that, you need to get rid of that. Somebody told her and you need to get rid of those pearls. And she clutched her pearls, and she said, the pearls are not negotiable. She loved her pearls. That's the way I feel about dessert drizzle. To me, I'm not going to go through life and never have a little cup of chocolate pudding or a little chocolate chip. I'm just not going to go through life and not have. Desserts are not negotiable. They're non-negotiable. I love me something sweet every once in a while. Just have to kind of watch what else you eat and not get too much other stuff going on. Ooh, cheesecake. You just come. Are you the devil, Drizzle? Just come on here and just to torment somebody like cheesecake. Yeah, I'm just right here in East Point. Bring me a slice of cheesecake by here. So anyhow, everybody, I'm gonna get off of here and go inside. And when Ava's gone, I get to catch up. Turn the music down, Heather. Is it too loud? How's that? Because I don't really, because it's coming through the computer also. Is that better? Okay. Well, it's probably not even hardly being able to be heard over on TikTok, but on YouTube and Instagram and Facebook, it's coming through the same speaker that I'm talking through. So it probably does something like you used to live down the road from Mary's. The gay bar Mary's in East Atlanta. I used to live on Ormwood, not too far, Ormwood Avenue off of Moreland, right over, not too far from Mary's. Yes, Mary. You know what? Mary's was the thing. I don't know how old you are, but Mary's was the little eclectic, weird gay bar thing. You know, it's still going on today over there in East Atlanta. Mary's is still thriving because Ava had an event over there one night. She said the place was packed. But you was on Rain Rock? Yeah. You was over there in that, what we call the highfalutin, high dollar. East Atlanta take off? Y'all, I remember when East Atlanta used to be the hood. Yeah, we did, Heather. We'd go to Mary's. I loved. It was fun. Hey, y'all, for some of you gay people out there, wasn't it fun back when we used to go to gay bars? That was so fun. It was so fun. We'd go to Burkhart's. We'd go to the Eagle. Hey, back in the day, we'd go to Back Street, and then right across the parking lot from Back Street, well, right in the same parking with back street. In the back of back street, there was a gay club. The, I know the name of this case, and then across the parking lot, it's still there as Bulldogs, and back street stayed open all night. And then there was Hoedowns, and then there was the Metro, and then there was, boy, Atlanta had a lot of gay bars. There was Mary's, there was the Heretic's still there. The Eagle was over on Ponce. Now the Eagle is Burkhardt. Man, wasn't it fun? I lived in Grant Park, and within 10 minutes in any direction, I could be in a gay bar somewhere. Be like, oh my God, this is so fun. Let's go have a drink somewhere. And then you could, like at Burkhardt, you could order you some chicken fingers. And bar hopping was fun, wasn't it, Drizzle? It was fun. We'd get in the car. Like, I remember one night that me and John and Rick, my friend Rick, Pete may have been with us, maybe not. And then John's cousin and his husband was with, and I had an SUV, and be like 7 or 8 of us, and we'd start out like at 10 o'clock. We said we're just going to have one drink at each bar, okay, not but one drink. And I'm telling you, we'd come back in at 5 in the morning. We'd hit every gay bar around Atlanta. You know, just bar hop, just pulling in bar hopping, just walking in there like a good Lord. It was so fun, y'all. So fun. Yeah. And then they had after hours places that some of us wound up at, but we godly holy people. We're talking about the Holy Ghost this evening. We're not talking about them god awful holy places that Satan roamed up the hallways of, that sometimes we wound up at. So, God, it was fun. Just so fun. Anyway, y'all, let me get out of here. When Ava's gone, I love to watch good documentaries. So we have Netflix, Amazon Prime, Hulu, HBO Max. Ava does all this. She pays for it. I don't pay for any of the cable stuff, but we have them all, a lot of them. And so while she's gone, I always like 62. Well, you're still fairly young. Hey, I remember when I was 62. I'll turn 70 in September, and that's just the weirdest stuff to me. That's just weird. That I'm just kind of. Sometimes, y'all see like today my music. Sometimes I play a song or something like "Making Love in the Green Grass Down by the Stadium with You," and all of a sudden, I feel like I'm 35, feel like I'm 40, something like that. And 70, yeah, I'll turn 70 in September. I forget sometimes that I'm right on the cusp of being 70 years old, and then I'll look at myself and I'll be like, oh my God, I look like my Uncle Aaron. And then other times I'll be like, my God, I look like my granddaddy, But in my youthful energy, I still feel young. I still feel like, I don't know, I still feel like I could have my old convertible with the top down pulling up at the eagle, like somebody's going home with me tonight. Yeah, it is odd. You're only as old as you think you are. I've heard that. Drizzle says, I feel 30 in my mind. Yeah, thank you, Heather. Heather, that's something when your own daughter's trying to encourage you and lift you up. My daughter's over on Facebook. She said, you look great, Daddy. But Heather does tell me all the time, said, Daddy, you hold it up. And she'll tell other people, she says, I hope I'll age like as good as my daddy does, because my daddy still just gets up and goes all the time, full of life, full of energy, laughs, jokes, has fun, acts silly, still acts like he's got a lot of youth left in him. Linda says, I still feel 16 and my bones feel like they're 56. Yeah. But y'all, if we're just going to be honest about it, we're designed to become decrepit if we live long enough. We're designed for our DNA, our bodies, our bones to wear out. We're not meant to be here. If we live to be 100 in the big spectrum of time, it's just a flicker that we're here. So I say, might as well go ahead and enjoy it. Enjoy it. What's that old commercial that said, grab all the gusto you can? Uh, I still feel, Linda says she still feels 16. I actually feel like in my mind, in my energy and my way of thinking, I still feel like I'm 38, 40 years old all the time. And then I'll look, in August, I don't know if I'm doing the right thing with this, but I could back out of this. But in August, I'm going in and they're going to do some eyelid work. And I always said I would never do that. And because I got, you probably can't see it, I got sagging eyelids. And so they're able, you're going to have to go under full anesthesia too. And they're going to have to, basically you get an eye tuck. I hope I don't come out of it looking like Kenny Rogers, like, oh, how's everybody doing? But I'm thinking I'll get it done. I mean, it's not going to hardly call it. It's just part of eye care, because eventually these lids lose their muscle stuff and they just hang down. So, and y'all know me being the social media person I am, they said for 2 weeks, like my face and eyes would just be black, a lot of bruising and black. And so hopefully you won't come out bug-eyed. So, but that's life. We're just getting older. I still can get that 2 miles in every day for under 40 minutes. I still love life. When I think the people that I've known that died, and just in a broad sense, not every single person, but the people I know that have died, it just seemed like they lost their will to live. They don't care, or just didn't care if they lived anymore. Maybe they had chronic pain, some of them had the illness, but they just reached a point like, yeah, I'm tired, I don't want to live no more. And then they die. I haven't reached that place. I enjoy life. I enjoy, still people watching and doing stuff and eating fresh eggs. I cooked me a pot of lime of butter beans the other day in the crock pot. Oh my God, they were so good. I couldn't believe how good they were just to cook them in a crock pot. It was supposed to take like 4 hours to cook them, but my God, they were so delicious. Butter beans. Yeah. In many cases, yes, they just got tired. If you've ever sat by the bed of somebody who was in hospice or dying at some point, they just release themselves and they're ready to go. I had my sister Vicky's husband David. He had been sick with lung cancer for 2 or 3 years. And he did not want to die. And everybody kept saying, David's about dead. I'd go by and see him. He wasn't a religious man. He wasn't a praying man. Never been in church. And but I could tell. I went by and talked to him one evening, sat by his bed. Because I can go into minister mode pretty easy. Especially I can feel real spiritual. There's something about dying that's very spiritual, y'all. And I know that might creep some of y'all out and make you feel weird about it. But there's something very spiritual about being in a hospital room to watch a baby being born in that moment. There's also something very holy and spiritual about being by the bedside of someone as they take their last breath. So anyhow, I went by and sat with David, and Vicky told me, Eddie said he's just terrified of dying. So I went by and was sitting with him, and I told him, I said, David, I want to tell you something. I said, you can choose not to die. And he's looking at me, and I said, as long as you don't want to die, every morning you wake up, you start your day off with saying, today I'm going to live. I am not going to die. And I said, David, you have that power. You can just stay here. You don't have to go. Just get up every day and choose to live. I said, but at some point, if you do decide to go, you on your terms, you decide when you're going to go. And about a month later, he said, I'm ready to go. I'm tired. And that's, that's just all I had for him. So, yeah. Anyhow, how did we get off talking? We went from talking about smoking pot to talking about saying our last goodbyes and losing our will to live. Good Lord. Anyhow, y'all, love y'all. I'm going to get off here and go find me something on TV. Y'all have indulged me with my silliness enough, and some of you's come by to say hello. Yeah. So good night, everybody, over on TikTok. Maybe I'll do some more lives over the weekend. I've really enjoyed. I did because I fasted a day in June. I fasted this past Monday, and after I fast, I feel somewhat holified and spiritual and spiritually flowing. So some of the comments I got from doing my little garden time praying or meditation or something was pretty touching to me. And I can't, I'm at the age, I can't do that unless I feel it in my spirit. And so like tonight, I just don't feel any of that. I just feel like talking about baking brownies and smoking weed. And did we talk about gay bar hopping? Is that not fun? Good night, Lynn. Good night, time, location, arts and crafts. I don't know what you're talking about, but can you? The Cabbagetown Festival. Yeah, it's basically just over in Cabbagetown, where I was born, over by the cotton mill, southeast Atlanta. If you get off at I-20 at Boulevard, it's Grant Park Zoo, Atlanta. Well, if you get off of there, coming from Stone Mountain side, you go right, and as you come around that curve, it's Carroll Street right there. It's Cabbagetown. So tomorrow, from 11 to 5, they block off Carroll Street. You can park anywhere, 3 or 4 streets over somewhere. Park in front of A1 Blueprint, my shop on Boulevard. Good night, justice for all. But if some of y'all are coming to the Cabbagetown Festival, I think Heather and them will probably come over there. Y'all, I'll be on TikTok or text me or something, and who knows? Maybe we smoke some weed. Let's walk around. Hey, everybody, let's walk around Cabbagetown. Somebody roll a big old blunt, and let's just walk around Cabbagetown smoking a blunt. Say, how y'all doing? How's y'all's mom and them doing? And just have a good time tomorrow. And then what's around there? Oh, there's all kind of restaurants up and down Boulevard. After we smoke some weed, we can just go eat us. Right in Cabbagetown on Kirkwood, across from the Cabbagetown Park. There's a lady, a sweet African-American lady that owns a bakery called Sweet Cheats, meaning you cheat. It's okay to cheat some sweet cheats. Oh, she's got all kind of pastries and homemade, donuts. Yeah, we can have a good time. Smoke a little weed, do a little dance, get down tonight. I'm getting silly now. Let me get off here. Love y'all. Lord help.